Hey, good weekend to you. Welcome to Leading Edge. I'm Jerry Anderson. Good to have you along. Well, the election, the one I'm going to talk about, is over a year away, yet already the race to be Ohio's next U.S. Senator following Rob Portman is already crowded. It is rolling in dough, and at times it's already gotten a bit testy. Now, no one is saying my first guest here leads the crowded GOP field, but outsiders seldom do, at least right off. But while the Mandels and Timkins and J.D. Vances and Mike Gibbons all wrestle to be Donald Trump's favorite child, Bernie Moreno, who also supports most of Trump's policies, by the way, could well be the Republican Democrats least want to face in 2022. I mean, let's face it, self-made rich guy, came here with his mom, 5 brothers, a sister. I believe that was a family makeup, from Colombia to escape socialism, to start a new life. He built a network of really high-end car dealerships around the country, but stayed headquartered right here in Ohio. Sold most of those dealerships for big cash, and now uses his business skills and that money to lead a technology business, developing and investing in tech software companies. Welcome, Mr. Moreno. Nice to have you along. And so for those out there saying, who is this guy again? Let me tell you, this guy right there in that square over there, in the second quarter of this year, raised more money for the U.S. Senate race than any other candidate, Republican or Democrat. I think he raised it, or was that just your money, Bernie Moreno?
Well, Jerry, thank you so much for having me.
Good to have you.
Toledo is going to be a really important part of this race. We're focused heavily on Northwest Ohio, and we were very proud to have raised $2.25 million from individuals. No corporate PAC money, no special interest money, no union money, and none of my own money yet. I'm certainly not going to telegraph to my opponents or anybody else how much I'm willing to invest, but it will be significant.
Mike Gibbons on the show recently. He's investing his money too. Let me jump down to a question about that, because you did say you're not taking any corporate PAC, political action committee money. How much of your own money do you intend to spend, and how do you separate the independence that does give you then from special interests? That's good, but then that also opens you up to charges of trying to buy an election.
Well, I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to buy the election. I've always put myself in a situation to do the hard work of meeting with individual people who invest in the campaign themselves, get a grassroots effort. But certainly, I believe in my message, right? I think it's great. So I'm going to invest in my own race, but not at the level that it just buys the race and buys the seat. I don't think that's good for democracy. I don't think that's what our founders would have had in mind. So I'll do the hard work and ask people for money.
You were among 4 leading GOP candidates who met with former President Donald Trump down at Mar-a-Lago, right?
We met down in Palm Beach, yes.
Palm Beach. As I understand it, none got his endorsement. Bernie Moreno, U.S. Senate candidate, will whoever gets that nod win the primary and then the Republican seat, or the U.S. Senate seat now held by a Republican?
Well, I think what's important is to get the endorsement of the 11.5 million people who live in Ohio, to connect to the voters, travel the state, meet people, again, listen. What are their issues? What are their concerns? But certainly, listen, President Trump did a lot of great things for the country, did a lot of great things for Ohio. And of course, his endorsement means a lot. When we met in March, my advice, I asked him with all humility to take it, which is not to endorse any of us at that point yet. But he cares a lot about Ohio, and I'm hoping that to get his endorsement soon.
He certainly did well in Ohio, carried it in 2016 and then in 2020, both times by 8 points. That's a comfortable win, folks, in Ohio politics. Bernie Moreno, my guest here. I ask every Republican these days who comes on the show, Mike Gibbons was just here a couple weeks ago, who won the 2020 presidential election?
Well, I mean, listen, unfortunately, we're seeing the ramifications of the Joe Biden administration. It's a disaster. You saw this morning the horrible news.
No, that's not what I asked. I asked who won the 2020 presidential election.
Well, President Biden is in the White House, and he won the election. I mean, that's who's.
Why can't either candidate? Yes, he did. I mean, I followed candidates who have lost. Ouch, it hurts. But why can't everybody say that on your side?
Well, because I think we do. I think everybody recognizes that Joe Biden's the president. And listen, 2016, Hillary Clinton didn't say she won. She said she won the election for a long time, if you remember that. So I think on both sides, there's a lot of that. If you look at Stacey Abrams, she still today hasn't conceded that she's not the governor of Georgia.
Down in Georgia. Yeah. You take pride in being a person from outside the, your word here, rigged system. Your party's been in power for a good chunk of your lifetime, but Democrats have also taken their turn being in charge. So who rigged the system?
Both parties did. No, I blame Republicans just as much as Democrats, for sure. I mean, look at Ohio. You travel from where I am now in the west side of Cleveland all the way to Toledo, which I will later today, and you cross Lorraine, you get into Toledo, Sandusky, that area. You see what both parties did. They gutted the middle class of this country to build the middle class in China. They had this thesis that, we'll just get low-cost labor in China and it'll solve all of our problems. We can buy all kinds of cheap things in Walmart and Amazon. And the reality is we paid a high price for doing that, and we have to reverse course. And absolutely both parties were responsible for that.
Bernie Moreno is my guest here. We're going to take a break because we want to get into some more issues. He has strong feelings about socialism. He has strong feelings about term limits. Yes, term limits, ladies and gentlemen, and much more. He's my guest on Leading Edge. We're back with more right after this.